Ladies and gentlemen, live from Studio A in North Hollywood, California, it's Talk with PhillyG! And I am your host. Hold on, here I come. Here, it's me. This is Talk with PhillyG, and I'm your host, PhillyG! Nice to be here. Today we have special guests who are waiting to come in. Check this out. Here they come. There they are.
Woo!
We have Jeffrey Scott Collins and actor Graham Sibley.
Woo!
All right. Look, how's it going, everybody? Thank you for coming.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks, man. Thanks
It's
for having
nice
us.
to be had. Yeah, right? So we were just chatting beforehand, and Graham has been on the show before, right before COVID, right?
Literally right before we talked about it.
Yeah.
How Donald Trump didn't acknowledge that it was a thing.
And nothing's changed, has it?
That's right.
He still doesn't. Although if we don't test, then we don't have a problem.
Right.
Right?
Right.
So yeah, Graham was on the show, and you were talking about your film Poor Greg Drowning, and you were talking about your other mini-series that you were on, right?
Yeah, and you called Dark Web, and I ended up getting the nomination.
Oh, dude, I don't have like a sound effect that says like,
Thank
you know, congrats or something like that.
Yeah.
But congratulations on that.
And so did the show. The show ended up getting 7 nominations, and won Best Lighting Design. So
Nice.
It's an Emmy-winning series.
Best lighting design. You know, it's funny. I won an award for best hair. So thank you for laughing, guys. Yeah. Well, congrats, dude. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was cool. It was
Amazing.
when we talked earlier, it was a pre-nomination, and then I guess it was a couple months later they announced the nominations, and it was amazing. I mean, you know, the whole ride was cool. It was weird because of the whole COVID thing, but you know, it was still really fun, and you know, it really injected some hope into my life over this odd time.
Well, I'll tell you what. As now you are used to nominations and awards and success, obviously, coming out of
I don't know if I'm
Yes, he is.
coming out of the well-respected Chapman University, right? Penn. They kept you there for a while, and now you're back into the public, out there doing a lot of things.
20 years later, Phil. 20 years later.
You're still the whipping boy, however. It hasn't changed, has it?
No, not at all.
Well, we also have director Jeff Scott Collins. Now it says Jeffrey. Are you Jeff or Jeffrey? Tell us.
I'm either or, whichever you prefer. Yeah.
Or just JSC.
Or JSC. I do like the full Jeffrey Scott Collins for my like director writer name, because Jeff Collins is pretty forgettable. I do whatever I can to make myself somewhat memorable, I guess.
Right. Well, that's awesome. So Jeff, you are a writer, director. You are a film. I mean, you do everything. So, do you have official training? Did you go to school? Let's start at the beginning.
Yeah. I kind of. So I grew up writing, making short films. My mom had this like massive VHS camera from the 80s that I would steal from her and make stuff, and I should have kept it as a dumbbell for the quarantine, because I can't find dumbbells anywhere, and
they're so expensive.
So
Crazy.
So I grew up making short films, and then in high school I was in a cinematography class with my friends. We made, I think, 5 short films that got into like festivals in New York, and I loved it. But my dad's a finance guy who kind of like, you know, gently pushed me in that direction. So I went to school for accounting, majored in accounting at Boston College, and then afterwards I went to I was working as an auditor, PricewaterhouseCoopers, eventually made my way over to HBO in finance, where I made a 30-minute short film, because my soul was just dying in the accounting and finance world. So finally made a 30-minute short film that HBO saw and they moved me to the creative services side at HBO. And when I was over there, I made another 30-minute short film that we did a premiere of at the theater at HBO.
Right.
And somehow some producers and agents got a hold of it and reached out. And at that time, that happened. Then I read The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho. And I was like, all right, screw it. I'm quitting and moving to LA. So came out here, didn't know anybody, did a summer film program at UCLA. Which was great because it gave me like film school experience, but also showed me I didn't need to go to a full-on like 3-year graduate program.
Yeah.
And then I started working with directors and assisting them, and while writing and developing my own stuff.
Well, that's one of the things that we do on this show is we want to highlight people's talents, right? And then we want to learn how you're grinding. And so, just your story of getting into Hollywood is amazing, because although it's not necessarily so unique, right?
Yeah.
Giving up everything and coming to Hollywood.
Yeah.
You and 17 million other people have done it, but yet you're finding your way, which is not so, that's not a given, right?
Yeah, absolutely not. It's the past 8 years, I think I came out here 8 years ago. I have dedicated and worked so much to get to this point. So yeah, it's a huge sacrifice, but I absolutely love it. So it doesn't, while it's an incredible amount of work and sacrifice, it doesn't quite feel like it.
Yeah. So if we're gonna move forward a little bit to your relationship with Graham, because you've made this film, Poor Greg Drowning. But did you know Graham before this, or how did you guys?
I did. We worked on a movie called Grow House together, and Graham was an actor in that, and then also helped out as a PA, I believe, driving a van from the trailers up to the set. And we would just have.
I did a lot of things on that.
He did.
I drove those big ass Mack trucks, which I shouldn't have been driving. I didn't have a license to drive like a.
Let me call the Teamsters right now.
Yeah, I have nothing to do with that part, but
I mean, I don't know if I should be saying that, but I was driving those big ass trucks, and then I'd get there, and they'd be like, "Can you drive a minivan too?" I was like, "Yeah, sure."
And we had a great time, and then so a year later, when I thought of this short film, I immediately thought of Graham in the lead. And again, we always like to joke that the reason I thought of Graham is because the character is just an utter disaster, pathetic, very desperate.
What did you say? What did you say? Really trying to put it together. Can't really move forward with his life.
Just drowning, if you will. And I immediately thought of Graham. So
that's great. The location. So you have a film. I saw the film, and it's really funny. I mean, I have not laughed. The name of the film, for all of the audience who is out there now and who will see this later, we are live, but also people go watch it later on, right? Hold on, let me take this banner down. There we go. It's called Poor Greg Drowning. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And so it's a film about the main character, Graham, who's right there to our right. And he's going through it. It's really like an LA story, isn't it?
Yeah, certainly. It's, he's an aspiring writer who is just heartbroken and devastated and can't find any inspiration to write. So definitely LA in that way. Yeah, I'll let Graham speak to that a little more, but it definitely has a nice LA feel to it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, we shot all over LA. We shot mostly in Jeff's apartment, and I mean, I think so many of us. It's interesting. We were saying before that so many of us come out to LA from another place to aspire to do something, and I was just watching this thing on PBS yesterday that Bryan Cranston was on, and actually I listened to Bryan's book, and one of the things that he was talking about was he was like, if you advice that I give to actors or people who say that they want to aspire to be actors, they say, oh, well, I'll give it a year and then I'll go out there and see what happens. And, we'll just play it by ear and then Bryan Cranston's always like, let me save you 1 year. Okay. Let me save you a year of your life. Cause this is a full on lifetime of stuff. And I think that's sort of interesting. That's kind of in the fiber of this movie is that, these characters, or Greg in particular, has something that he wants to do, and he lives in LA where the journey takes unexpected turns, and you've got relationships that end and jobs that you lose jobs, and and that's sort of the ups and downs of this journey that it probably happens anywhere, but it just feels so epic when you're away so far from home and so in such a different setting and circumstances. Stakes just seem so much higher for everyone.
Right. Well, now that you've spoken about it, so Graham, in the first role that we saw, people can see you on Netflix, right? You play like a kind of a very serious, dramatic, psychotic role, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's Amazon Prime, and it's
Amazon Prime. Sorry,
it's called Dark Web.
Web.
It's a limited series,
right.
A digital series. Yeah, that was it's a different role, and I'm
right. But I know you now from seeing you and knowing you for a little bit as a very funny and I think you're very comedic, and your timing is superb.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Yeah, I think. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And so it's, when you see, I mean, obviously it says a lot to you as an actor to be able to be so versatile. Thanks, but I really like you in this role. And we have a clip. Can we see a clip of it? What do you think?
Please.
Yeah. Let's check it out. Here we go. This is Graham Sibley playing the role of Greg, and he's in a bathtub, right?
Sure is.
Okay, here we go.
No, it's totally normal to get emotional during a romantic comedy.
I'm not going anywhere, and who the hell are you?
Mom, how am I supposed to get a job and a roommate and work on my writing? You think Dalton Trumbo was posting Craigslist ads and driving around in an Uber on the weekends? No. Yes, writing is going great. All right, say hello to Mary Jane for me. Love you too.
Awesome. Oh, hold on. You're back. There we go. We're back. So, Graham, you obviously don't have a problem with nudity in your roles, right?
Facts.
No, come on. That's not nudity.
Oh, it's not. Oh, well, watch the film. There's actually.
He was very shy on set. That took a lot of convincing for him to dispose of his clothes.
Any chance I had to take
bubbles like right there on the cap.
He wanted to be on his back for that scene, but I said no. You gotta be on here. You gotta be on your
Ass up, Greg down. Dude, that's a great example of just it's your inner narrative. That this movie is really all about, right? And your imagination and just going through this. I think a lot of people, if they will relate to it on our audience here, our family of actors and creative professionals, I think they could really relate to the struggles of this character, and how you just get into your head and it's like, man, what am I doing? This is crazy. But then you come out on the other side, which is like, that's the good part, right? That's the resolve to the story.
Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, we'd hope so,
That's what we're striving for. But yeah, definitely.
So Jeff, was this autobiographical or?
Completely.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't. But I did go through right a week before graduation of college. My high school sweetheart and I of 5 years broke up, and so we dated from like junior year of high school all through like literally a week before graduation of college. That happened, and then a bunch of other, like in a very short period of time, tragic things in my life happened. And then I moved to New York to be an auditor, which was the most tragic of them all. And and then that fall, I didn't realize it because I had never dealt with depression, but I just fell into a complete, like, debilitating depression. And so I definitely drew from a lot of that for what Greg is going through in this film. And I don't want to give too much away, but there's certain things where like the mind plays tricks on you. And so there's elements of that in this film. So not autobiographical, but that is definitely an inspiration. And then a lot of the characters, like Patricia is my mom. So in the way we talk on, like Greg talks with her on the FaceTime on the toilet, we don't necessarily do the toilet, but we definitely have that type of relationship. So there's a lot of, and like Paul, the best friend, is very similar to my best friend growing up, Pete. And so a lot to draw upon. And then Greg, I always say this, if Graham and I had a baby, it'd be Greg. Slightly exaggerated, but not too much.
Pretty true. I mean, I had gone through very similar things. I think anybody does. I think everybody does. I think especially, you know, as a man. I mean, I only know this experience, but I think everybody goes through these big, large chapters. I mean, there's that whole quarter life crisis thing that goes on. I think that Greg just had his a little bit later.
Yeah. Well,
or maybe just had another one.
Another one, yeah.
By the way, we're in Hollywood and things are fluid, Graham. So
that's right.
Very much so.
Jeff, you appear to be quite a bit younger than us. I don't want to judge, but
thank you.
Right?
I forgot to. I'm not used to like being on camera. I totally forgot to trim up the beard and all that jazz.
Well, you look, very rugged and like you're ready to go out and shoot some more footage, right?
Yes.
Tell us about the production. Are you ready to start another production, or can we even do anything in this environment?
Yeah, definitely ready to shoot. I mean, we finished shooting principal photography on this 13 years ago. No, in 2016, so 4 years ago. And yeah, I've been doing a lot of writing, casting my next feature right now. That we would love to be shooting later this year, pending everything. Yeah, just been doing a lot of writing, but definitely dying to get back on set, and dying to work with Graham again. So yes, I'm definitely I'm growing the beard out for the director's chair for sure.
Yeah, how big of a crew did you carry for this film?
Most days were literally our DP, which was either Phil Sabal or Ray Wong Chinda, and then a sound guy. Okay. And for the majority of the shoot. And then once we got financing to finish the remaining pages, about half the script, some days we had hair, makeup, a first AD, and some great PAs, but it was usually very, very scarce.
Yeah. I mean, that's how, quite honestly, that's how I'm working right now. It's like, we got to build this thing up and you just got to do it, MacGyver style, right?
Yeah.
Which is, don't you?
Yeah. Okay. I'm not that young, but yeah. But yeah, most days we're pretty scarce, but I it feels like when you're a kid and you got your mom's VHS camera and you just are like, let's go shoot something. And that's kind of how this all came about.
I love it. I think it's so respectable. Can you talk, maybe Graham, you could talk a little bit about your co-actors. They're so fun. I mean, it's such a great cast. Why don't you name them from favorite to least favorite? And
they're all my friends.
I know Graham cast the majority of this film.
It was great. I mean, yeah, go ahead, give them some time, and really give them the praise that they deserve. Quite honestly.
Oh gosh, I think the courage that it takes for anybody to get a phone call and say, "So we're shooting this thing, and there's no money, and there's we're just gonna kind of like, well, see what happens," and that takes a lot of courage for people that have significant credits and have done a lot of work, and it just happened to be that we caught people in the right moment. And so my friend Christine Woods, she's got a huge body of work, and she's just an amazing actress. We've done many projects together, film, theater, and one of my dearest friends, and I think she was just game for it, and that was really working with her was a real gift. And then just all the way down the line, everyone from Kevin Daniels, who is an amazing actor. He's been on so much stuff and went to Juilliard and been on Broadway. And, he's amazing. And Deborah S. Craig has also been on Broadway, and she's an amazing actress and super funny and has been in a million things. And Jeremy Luke, who we ended up shooting a movie together a couple of years ago that really bonded us. Was that Clint Eastwood directed, and it was like the biggest thing that we'd ever done together. And for him to come on board for this was a real get, because he's super funny and he was just perfect for it. And Sarah Baldwin, amazing. Oh my gosh, she's just perfect for this, and what a sweetheart. And just all the way down the line. I mean, there's just all the way down. These were all close friends of mine. And then but one vital role that we had a hard time casting was Peyton. And maybe Jeff can talk about that.
Yeah, we were searching for a while. Auditioned a bunch of people, and then Marguerite Insolia, who ends up playing Peyton, I can't remember how it happened, but we just grabbed a coffee, and I was like, "Yeah, we have this project we're shooting." At the time, we thought it was going to be a web series, and she was like, "Oh, it sounds great. I'd love to audition for it, put myself on tape." I was like, great. The second Graham and I saw it, we were like, there she is. There's Peyton. It was like just perfect. And she's incredible in the film. She is exactly what I was envisioning when I wrote Peyton. And yeah, everybody Graham's talking about, George Basil, Jenny O'Hara, like the cast is pretty insane. And everybody, the way we shoot, especially in this film, we shoot everything as scripted, and as soon as we have that, we let the actors riff and just improv, and they're all incredible at it. And there's a scene in the movie of Graham and Marguerite talking about a painting, and all improv. Like it was, and it's one of my favorite scenes in the movie. It's just freaking hilarious. So and the fact that everybody looked the same again after shooting, especially Graham, because we did pickups years later with just Graham. But yeah, it's remarkable that it all came together the way it did.
Yeah, and I think working with Marguerite was really, once we ended up kind of having we saw her tape, and then we called her in, and and we met her, and then Jeff offered her the role. Working with her was just, it was so seamless. It was so easy. It was like, oh my gosh, like the improv was amazing. The working on the stuff that was written was amazing. She's just so funny and so real and so grounded and so fun to play with. But it really, that goes for everybody in this film. Everybody was so game for that. That same sort of like free nature process to the whole thing. And we got some really cool stuff that I don't think, if we were on a 1 to 2 take, really down to the wire regimented, some line producer looking at the schedule, I don't think we would have been able to get that, because you need the time to be able to kind of feel out what's right and wrong and try things. And Jeff is so open to all of that, which is a real gift to actors.
Sure.
And like, in addition to what Graham was saying, yeah, a lot of it was we just tried whatever and like, let's see what works. But then there was also times, there's such professionals. There's a dinner scene that runs like, I think 4 minutes, and we had enough light because it was natural lighting and to shoot 2 takes. And that scene is, and they were spot on, like their lines, everything. And God, that is so impressive to me.
Professionals, and not the manifestation of, how great everyone was gelling together is we know that it went really well because look at this. Look at that.
Graham's back there somewhere.
Right.
There's no more room.
Well, we could have covered you up. That's amazing. I mean, look at all those awards and such.
Yeah. It was a remarkable run. I mean, it was a year and a half of festivals with a rough cut, trying different things. So yeah, we were very lucky.
Is it cool or not cool that the Mammoth Film Festival's logo is like 3 times everybody else's?
Well, I'm pretty OCD, so that always bothered me. But
with that.
In fact, if I was looking at it now, I might even try centering it under Greg so that it's like a little more.
Cover the desk. You're like, I'm just gonna hide the desk with that logo.
Yeah,
that would be perfectly symmetrical.
Yeah, I think damn. And
that's our last one. That was our last one.
I know, right? Sorry, I didn't mean to bring that up. It's just
no, it's good.
As you look at those things, let me ask you some important questions, right? Kind of like influences. I'll start with Graham, right? So if you had to pick like Leslie Nielsen, Steve Martin, or who else? Well, how about between those two? Who do you prefer as a comedic role?
Steve Martin.
I
mean, Leslie Nielsen is amazing. I didn't really grow up with Leslie Nielsen. I think I more grew up with
Bill
Steve
Murray. How about this?
Bill Murray. I mean, that's like apples and oranges. I mean, those guys are just both geniuses. But they're one of my favorite movies of all time is Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, and Steve Martin in that movie is Oklahoma. There's so many amazing moments to that movie. And he's just such a, I don't know. I find him to be super funny, but I also find him to be super grounded. I think that when he really finds a real balance to, and there's actually moments in that movie when he's working with Michael Caine, where Michael Caine is really grounded. But Steve Martin it kind of always treads the line between caricature and groundedness, and it's interesting that you brought that up because I kind of feel like Greg is in that same vein. Mm-hmm. There's a real groundedness to him, but there's also these heightened situations where he's like, I gotta leave the therapist's office like right now, and he storms out of there. He's like,
yeah. I think that kind of seriousness, mixed with the the satire and the comedy is like, that's what makes it even more funny. And that's what I like about you. That's what I see, in your comedy.
Wow. That's a real, thanks, man. That's one time I saw Steve Martin and it was maybe like 10 years ago, something like that. And I was driving along Hollywood Boulevard after the Strip, right? In that neighborhood area, where it gets kind of hoity-toity and you go up into the hills up there. And I saw Steve Martin riding a banana boat bicycle, like a banana seat, like that's from when you were tremendous. Like 10 years old. Right. It was him. Incredible. And I was like, oh my God, that's Steve Martin riding a banana bike.
And what'd you do?
And then I was just driving. I was like, I couldn't believe it. It was one of those moments where I was like, that's Steve Martin on a banana bike.
That's great.
That reminds me of do you hear what Bill Murray does to just random people? Well, if you're on the street and Bill Murray will walk up to you, like if you're just standing there and then all of a sudden Bill Murray like rubs your head and you look at him and you see it's Bill Murray and he just says, no one will believe you. And then he'll walk away.
I know that if you want to hire Bill Murray, you have to call his lawyer and leave a voice message or something.
And meet him at the airport or something like that. It's like,
amazing.
Yeah.
Well, now you have to wear his golf clothing because he has a line of golf clothing.
Really?
He does.
That would be a bucket list, is to golf with Bill Murray for sure.
Oh, man.
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
You're not even kidding.
Did you see the episode of Anthony Bourdain's TV show on CNN where he eats South Carolina cuisine with Bill Murray?
Oh, no, but
it's so good. It's so fun. It's so good. Love them both.
I feel like nowadays everyone wants to be the next Anthony Bourdain.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? Including me. So
Great job.
You guys are my first cobblestone down that path.
Tremendous. Yeah.
Now, Jeff, so tell us okay, so we got to speak about Graham's inspirations. How about you? Any big names, or who do you pattern yourself after?
Well, I'll actually throw out the 3 directors I worked for. So Vic Levin, I worked with him on his feature 5 to 7, which is, Vic is just an absolute, just incredible writer. So his writing has like a poetry to it. So he is like word perfect, but deservedly so. So on that feature, we had Anton Yelchin, Glenn Close, Frank Langella, and Olivia Thirlby, Bernice Merlot. And he was a showrunner for Mad About You. He was a writer, producer on Mad Men. I mean, he's just next level. And a lot of his stuff reminds me of Woody Allen. So very grounded, real comedy, which I love. And then I worked for Luke Greenfield, who's now one of my best friends, and he did Girl Next Door, was a producer on Role Models. I worked with him on Let's Be Cops. So he's more R-rated, edgy comedy. So that's where I get a lot of that stuff from in Poor Greg Drowning. And we have a just very similar type of sense of humor. And then finally, John Hamburg, I worked with, we did his movie Why Him, but he didn't Meet the Parents. I Love You Man. I Love You Man might be my favorite comedy ever. And he's just incredible at the awkward comedy, which is huge in this movie. And and where I really learned from John is where we would shoot as scripted and then just roll the camera for 40 minutes. And I think Judd Apatow does that as well, and just try a bunch of stuff. So I feel like it's, in the comedy sense, it's a blend of those 3.
Awesome. What did we have? Did you already say what's coming? I know what you want to shoot next. Is that a comedy as well?
Yeah. So my next feature that we're casting now is a dark heist comedy that gets a little gritty. And it's set in LA as well. And it's very much in the vein. I would never try to mimic, because I think that always backfires, but inspired by Coen Brothers, Tarantino. Yeah, so that one's coming up next.
Now, when you go to, I assume you go to some people who are going to fund your next project. Do you go to a big outlet, or do you have financiers? How does that work?
Yeah, I mean, we have a really good cash sheet shaping up. So we're just putting together the package. We have financiers that are interested in just financing outright. Right. So we're gonna figure out whether to just do it independently and then sell it, or do we just go to a buyer like a Netflix or somebody and try to do it that way?
When you show them this with all those logos, do you get more money?
Yeah, absolutely. It's just the doors are being knocked down left and right. You know,
I joke, but I don't.
Right? No, I mean, yeah, I'm very proud to, because whenever you're about to make your next feature, they ask to see the first one, and I'm extremely proud to send along this bad boy to them.
Yeah, well, I think it's great. I am happy to be able to help promote and to talk to you guys about Poor Greg Drowning. Let me show it one more time. Look at that, everybody. What a cast. We've spoken a lot today about a lot of things. And it's really a pleasure to meet you, Jeff, and to see
Likewise.
Graham again. I hope when you do your next, when you get back into production, you'll let us know so that we could all be a part of it. We look forward to seeing more roles from Graham, of course.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And another, yeah. So if you have any future announcements about how the audience can see Poor Greg Drowning, please let us know, and I'll share that with everybody so that they can know.
Yeah. Well, and before I forget, quick shout out to Cedric the Entertainer, who joined this film as the narrator. As we were shooting it or testing it in screenings in festivals, we realized that we wanted a narrator to play over animations, and sent it to Cedric, who I worked with on Why Him, John Hamburg's movie, and he was game and is the man and will be in my next feature. So huge shout out to him, and he and Graham are doing an Instagram live tomorrow on the release day at 11 a.m.
Who's Instagram?
Graham and Cedric's.
So if I go to Sibley Face Instagram, I will see it there.
That's right. Yeah.
Watch this, guys. Watch this.
Look at this.
What? Hold on here. Oh, hold on.
Speaking of fluid.
Yeah. Nothing more fluid than Phil. At
Fluid Phil. That's actually a good nickname. Fluid Phil.
If I spell it correctly, I'm even more of a champ. Here it comes. Wait for it. Is it coming up?
So much anticipation.
No, this is.
Hold on. Show.
Oh, look at this.
At Sibley Face.
Incredible.
Yeah, and at Poor Greg Drowning and at Jeffrey Scott Collins.
And
So,
you got to type fast
Cedric.
here, Phil. And Ed Said the Entertainer.
It's
You know what? I'm going to go at SCED, right?
Yeah, I believe that's what it is. Ed Said the Entertainer. And yeah, so you can get you can find a pre-order link today on Apple TV and iTunes, and then tomorrow it'll be coming out it's up on Vudu now as well, I think, and then like Dish, Spectrum, a bunch of different places, Amazon Prime.
That's awesome. I mean, this is what it's all about. It's about being a creative spirit, right? Jeff, you actually make films, and Graham, you bring them to life. And so, that combination is really special. And I think that everybody out here, everybody who watches, they are trying to do what you guys are actually doing at a very high level. So for that, I thank you guys. We are all blessed and honored to have you come and spend time with us today.
Likewise. Thank you so much.
And so next time you have something, hit me back and we will see you again. Thank you guys. This is PhillyG on behalf of Jeffrey Scott Collins and Graham Sibley. Everybody, we'll see you next time. Thank you.
Ooh, thank you.
Adios, amigos.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.